Hello, and welcome once again to the Shooting Left of Center podcast. As always, I am the Yankee Marshal, and as always, I am joined by Never Enough Ammo and Gun Websites. Say hello, fellas.
Hey, thanks for the invite.
What is going on, everybody?
Oh, mister, you're supposed to say hello, fellas.
Hello, fellers.
Yeah, fellers. Well, tonight is going to be an all SHOT Show related show, unless we run out of SHOT Show stuff to talk about the first 15 minutes, which I do hope we won't, but we shall see. But I don't know if there's a whole lot to talk about SHOT Show, though, is the thing. I think the one question I get more than anything is SHOT Show fun, or is it all business? I actually think it's fun, but some people mix it, business, pleasure, some just it's all business. Do you go more for fun, or do you go for business, G-Webs?
Well, it definitely is. It's fun. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
And I think I go more now for networking with friends that I've made over the years, and because we get to hang out. It's just a place where so many people go and gather that it's worth it just to be able to touch base with everybody and say hey, and it gets to see everything is kind of cool. But yeah, I wish there was business. It'd be great. If somebody wants to do business, then our doors are open.
Sorry, I disappeared there for a minute. My furnace kicked on. I had to go turn off the heat because it makes a ruckus in the background. Is everybody still here?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Didn't want to make sure y'all didn't make a run for it while you had the chance. Yeah, I think SHOT Show's a lot of fun. I actually go just for fun. I mean, someone's saying, "Why can't they see us?" I don't have my camera on. Let's see. There my camera's on. Let me turn my camera down a little bit. It's pointed a little skyward there. I think the thing about me for SHOT Show is seeing the new guns is the biggest part about me, and then meeting up with people that are like from the internet and YouTube, etc. Our fellow, what would you call us? What is it? The news media, the new media. Yeah, I like that a lot. People are asking, like, what's my favorite? What gun am I looking forward to the most this year? Does anybody have anything new they're looking for? What they're wanting to most see at SHOT Show this year? Either of you?
I haven't seen a decent list of stuff. I mean, I'm interested in the Savage ARs that are coming out. That's something that I want to see a little bit more of. And then that new Hudson H9. That Striker fired, supposed to be just like a 1911 trigger and all that kind of stuff. That's got me curious because it looks like a RoboCop gun, so I'm always up for that. Those are really the only two I've seen, that have been advertised to the extent that, it's got me interested a lot. I'm just not as familiar with everything that might be new at the show this year.
Yeah, I'm interested in the new Colt, of course. I want to see, does it hold up to the Colt?
Oh yeah, the Cobra, yeah.
Yeah, but that Hudson Manufacturing, that what is the name of that thing? The
H9.
H9. Yeah, that thing I am super, super, super interested in.
Yeah, it looks like a cool gun. I was at first, I like the innovation that they're doing, but at first I thought that front portion of the frame, I thought that was like just a pre-packaged light laser combo, and then we were talking about it yesterday, and it's like, no, that's a new recoil spring system, and I was like, okay. That's interesting. I wonder if
that sits in front of the trigger guard. So the trigger guard is kind of like flat with the front of the gun. So it's kind of a weird. I like the look.
It looks cool. Like I said, to me, it looks like a RoboCop gun. So I thought that was kind of cool, or something, And I'm curious though. It's a metal framed 9mm. 9mm. Didn't really need some new innovative recoil spring design to manage recoil
to manage 9mm, probably not.
That's what I'm saying. It seems a little unnecessary. I know they said part of the reason they did it also was to get a lower bore axis, not just to control recoil, and that's fine. And it's cool. I mean, it's cool. It's new. It's innovative.
With it being gun, the way I look at it is, it's probably going to be a gun that shoots 9mm like you're shooting 32.
Probably
feel almost nothing, and that'll be cool. And then there's just the fact it just looks freaking cool.
It does. I like the way it looks.
It's got like a 19 style trigger that's kind of like a Glock safety on it, and it's got the 1911 grip and grip panels. But it lacks the safety of the 1911. But you can put the safety on there if you want to. It's modular. You can have it with or without the safety.
Yeah.
That front recoil spring that's below the in front of the trigger guard makes the gun have a unique profile. Just looks super
fun finding holsters for that thing, but
yeah, I'm sure someone will eventually make them, or someone will be, on the ball of getting them made before they hit the market. I'm actually planning on going over to that booth first, kiss as much ass as I can throughout the weekend for those people. Maybe they'll put me on a list for be able to buy one of the first ones out. You never know. So
when you say unique profile, is that your politically correct way of saying ugly ass?
No, it's not. I don't know if it's ugly, but it's cool looking. It's one of those guns that you look at it and you're like, that looks like something they cobbled up for a movie.
Yeah, no, that's why I like it. It looks like a gun that'd be in a sci-fi movie or something like that.
That's an H9.
And that's cool. I would not buy that just to, I think this is a great gun, because to me, it's a little overdone. It's a great concept gun, and maybe in the future we'll see more, recoil spring setups that are similar to that, but maybe don't take up as much room, that bring that bore axis down and maybe help manage recoil a little better. So maybe this is a step in the right direction for some new, designs that will eventually shrink some, hopefully. But if it wasn't for the fact that it looked like a cool sci-fi gun or something, I wouldn't be interested in it. It's the look that I like.
It's very cool looking. I'm gonna try to pull up a picture here for the people that are watching live so that they can see it. If I can ever get
I got it on my screen right now.
Oh, you got it up there already?
Yeah.
Why am I not seeing it?
One thing I'm curious about is they say it's basically got a 1911 trigger. Striker fired gun with a 1911 feeling trigger. Like it feels like a 1911. I'm very curious about that and how they managed to pull that off. And what exactly, it's a striker fired with a very light single action trigger.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they went to the 1911, because one of the reasons the 1911 trigger is as nice as it is because the mechanism is directly back from the trigger. So when you pull the trigger, you're sliding it directly rearward with all the energy going straight back into releasing the hammer. So how are they putting the mechanism right behind the trigger? So like on like striker fired guns,
we've got your bar that reaches up and then
it's above
comes into contact. So everything moves up, and you're just, that motion of rocking the trigger back is what does everything. Maybe they and again, we haven't seen the inside of it, so you'll probably get to see it when you get there. Hopefully they'll want to show that off, because that seems to be a selling point. But I would have to imagine, because on the 1911 trigger, your bar goes straight back and goes around that outside there to make room for the magazine and everything. And so maybe it goes back to the rear and then reaches up to activate. So instead of rocking your trigger and activating that bar that reaches up and
well, I saw a picture of the trigger disassembled, and the trigger itself, not the other components, and it looked like it had like a 1911 trigger. The bar went straight back. So what I'm figuring is they must have dropped some sort of release mechanism into the grip frame.
Yeah.
That releases the sear, that releases the striker, because it looked like it had a straight back bar on the trigger. So I'm really looking forward to this gun. Like I say, I'm hoping if I can kiss enough ass, will put me on a list to be able to buy one of the first ones out, because I would love to not have to struggle to try to find one of these. I should talk to Hogue. Hogue makes the back strap for it, so maybe they got a connection that they can get me one for it.
Now, does it take? It looks like it takes 1911 grips.
They look like it. They're VZ grips. I don't know why they used a Hogue back strap and a VZ grip.
I'm not sure. It looks standard. So that's a cool design feature. If you can throw whatever 1911 grips you want on there, to me that's pretty cool. I like that.
And it still holds. It's got a 1911 grip, but it still holds 15 rounds of 9mm.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that is probably a one of those. You know how like the Smith & Wesson Shield staggers the rounds? It's not actually a true double stack. It's kind of staggered. Are you thinking it would be that kind of a magazine with this?
I saw a picture of the magazine. I can't remember where it was, and it looked like just a standard double stack magazine. There's that one right there. It kind of looks like a standard double stack magazine to me.
Well, the Shield
looks like there's tape on it.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that bottom plate is, but it doesn't look. It looks fat enough to be a double stack mag. I don't know. If you look at the gun from the front or the back, it's a wide gun. In comparison to a 1911, it looks about the same width as any other 9mm Glock or whatever out there on the market. So
I mean, those, I mean, it's just a drop dead sexy gun, in my opinion. I like it. I like that unique look.
Yeah, no, I think it's a cool looking gun. Yeah.
What about this Ruger?
Sci-fi looking.
What about this Ruger? Or you already have this one?
No, I don't have it yet. I am actually looking forward to that gun. I actually want it. I mean, for people who don't know, that is the 8-shot 357 Magnum Ruger Red Hawk.
That's hard to beat. Smooth cylinder, nice size.
Smooth cylinder, good size. It's a little bigger than the Smith & Wesson equivalent, which would be like the 627 Performance Center, but it's a Ruger. So if you're a Ruger lover, it's basically the same gun.
Yeah, that's a nice gun.
Oh yeah, it's nice. I definitely want it. I mean, I got no need for it having a 627, but I still want it.
You'll get mad if we don't talk about this Colt Cobra. So Colt cleared space on their floor to produce revolvers again. This is the introduction to that, right? So are you looking forward to this or no?
I am looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it with hesitation. I'm wondering, how good it's going to be. One thing I am curious about is you see that little, like, it looks like how it's like it's uncircumcised or something there on the barrel. When you go towards the back, towards the frame, see that little roly poly there?
The swell right here?
Yeah, it looks like its foreskin's rolled back there, I guess. I'm wondering why that is.
Maybe just a design thing.
It looks more like a design thing to me.
I'm just wondering why they would choose to do that. I guess maybe make it look like it's not as plain or something, just to be.
Yeah, it would look kind of weak. The barrel would look tiny. It's supposed to be a Cobra, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, because I got some.
I want to like it. We were talking about it on the Daily Show, but the MSRP at $700. So what? It's going to retail for like $5-ish or something. You hope? Then
that's probably $5.99, give or take.
It's kind of an expensive gun to be not really a J-frame. I can't stand that you have to pull this thing back on a Colt, so that's going to stop me from ever wanting one. But I would like to see us continue to make new guns.
I like the pullback ones, but see, the barrels on the old ones don't have that swell. So
yeah, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, they don't look wimpy or nothing. I don't know. Maybe they just wanted to make it new.
Yeah, I guess maybe to distinguish the.
It's a Cobra. Yeah, they got to make it look like something different.
Yeah, maybe they're trying to protect the market for these things.
Yeah. I guess they're maybe with this is like they're trying to get into concealed carry and that kind of stuff, and that's cool. But I would have loved to have seen them simultaneously come out with a 357 model as well. Like give people that option.
Yeah,
I mean, I know there's a lot of differences there, and maybe they got to beef up the frame and do some other stuff depending on how small they've made this one. But it would have been nice to see that being something offered.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really excited about it. We'll see. we will see. Those 80% Glock frames. People keep asking me about those up there like that. They're like, "Well, how many of those are you going to get?" I'm like, none. I don't want to build my own Glock. I don't even want a Glock someone else built. Why do I want to build my own?
I actually checked those out. Those polymer 80 Glock
like frames. $179, aren't they? $180.
Yeah, and I mean, and again, you have to finish it yourself. You can go over to Lone Wolf, and they sell I forget what they call them, Timberwolf frames or whatever the hell they call their frames, and you can buy those for about $199, and it's a finished frame. It's ready to go. It's got everything on it. It's stippled. The pinholes have already been drilled. Everything. I get it. Oh, well, then it's not an FFL transfer. You can just have it at your house. You can just send it direct. I get that, but still, it doesn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see the appeal.
Don't see the appeal to them. And I mean, I can go on eBay or not eBay, but the Gunbroker and just get Glock frames for $200, that are fully finished Glock frames. That's how I got Gary's frame off eBay.
I honestly, I think it caters to people who, it's the same people who buy 80% lowers and stuff, and they want guns that they don't have to register, that can just get sent to their house, that there's no serial number on, that you can just. I think that's probably who it caters to more than anything else.
I mean, who do they think they're fooling? Like the government's not going to know I got this. If you bought it, if they want to know you got it, if you bought it off the freaking internet, for God's sakes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's my assumption. I'm assuming that's who this caters to.
What do you think about?
I don't know.
Hashtactical posted this picture with look at these tool marks in the front of that Hudson.
Yeah, that's probably. I'm hoping that's a mock-up because that's crap.
Now I didn't get a chance to see. Is this a steel or an alloy aluminum frame?
I think it's an aluminum frame. I think it's alloy. We'll see.
Now, would you not buy it because of this, or would you buy it because you're going to be all giddy about being out?
If it really looked like that in real life, I would not buy that. The ones I've seen pictures of don't have that. So if that looks like probably it's one
Well,
of the type models where they just mill it out and throw it out to get it to go. So if you look on that, even the rail doesn't look like it's finished properly. So it just if it was like that, yeah, I wouldn't buy it because I'm not going to spend $1,000 for a gun that looks like that.
And I was actually surprised. They said what was MSRP like $1,100
or something like that,
right? Like $1,099. Which
Yeah.
I was surprised. I was talking to somebody else on one of the chats, and they were like, "Oh, that's expensive." I'm like, "Yeah, it's expensive," but I honestly was expecting it to be a lot more. When somebody comes out with something new and innovative like this, usually $2,000, right off the bat. Or whatever. I was like, well, pushing down towards 1,000, and probably once it hits stores and that kind of stuff, you can probably find them for $1,000. I mean, that's the going price for some SIGs and Kimbers and a lot of other stuff out there. So yeah, it's expensive when you're used to buying $500 Glocks all the time. But in the grand scheme of things, if you were going to go buy an FN 45 tactical or a SIG or whatever, you were going to pay $1,000 anyway. If you like this gun, that's not actually a bad price to pay for something that's new and innovative, and looks like a RoboCop gun, and it's cool. So it's actually not that bad in my opinion. And I'm a cheap ass, so that's saying something.
I don't find it bad to get something different, something unique. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I want to feel it. I want to see it in person, see how good it looks in person. But I'm really looking forward to it a lot. Where's my chat window? There. But yeah, there's the white Rhino. I talked to him a long time about the 3-inch Rhino, and finally, we had a sit down and they decided, we're going to build one. And we talked about custom collars. They did not talk about that being the collar. That was a decision that was made long after I was in the loop. So I'm not crazy about that color scheme, but I'm just thrilled the fact that they're actually making a 3-inch now. So there'll be some coming out shortly that aren't that color.
So when they give you one, you're not going to accept it?
Oh no, I'm still taking it. I told him I'd still take it. I'm picky. I'm not stupid.
Uh-oh, somebody over in the chat said rhinos are just a gimmick and they're ugly.
They've never shot one.
Wait, go back up. What was that lever action? Scroll back up there, sir. What in the hell?
That thing? What is that?
That is a lever action 12 gauge.
There's shotguns and the lever action.
Remember that?
That is so ugly. I want one.
What was that one that was all done up like that was available there for a while? I forget what.
It was this looks like that. Was it Winchester made that lever action tactical thing?
Yeah.
No, that was Mossberg.
Was it Mossberg? Yeah, that was what I was thinking of.
That's Adler Arms. I got to look that up. That thing is so hideous. I want one. Oh my God. That is amazing.
That right there. That's pretty cool looking. Is that little 1022 takedown or something?
It's a 1022 pistol in takedown.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I like that. That should be zombie green, because that'd be a perfect little zombie weapon.
I'm hoping this other thing is on here that I like.
Which thing is that?
Well, if it's in here, I'll show you. But I think it was on here.
I hate for people if we put this up as a podcast later that are going to be
we're scrolling
through images.
It's on a blog. I guess, guns, holsters, and gear. But if you just type in, that's what I'm looking for. If you type in what's new at SHOT Show 2017, you're going to get a similar blog. This is basically all the stuff that NSSF is sending out as their press releases. So this one's from IO, which is the negative part, but I don't know what they're thinking, but it's some sort of swing out cylinder, I guess. They decided to design it with this like goiter on the side.
Yeah, that looks weird.
You know me, I'm going to have to try to get one because it's a tiny little revolver, but
I like the hammer.
Yeah, they definitely did some things to spin it up, but it's the same old frame.
Yeah,
they just are coming at it with a different angle, but it's IO, so they're going to speak Polish or whatever it is, and they're not going to be in their booth, so it's going to be frustrating. Hopefully, it'll be like laying out on a counter, because usually that's they just leave their shit laying around.
Yeah,
and they all just eat, they scatter. So if they're there, I'll definitely be
all around. All those guys are out hitting on the show tail, the like the girls at the booths that are hired as models.
$259 though is their MSRP.
By the way, real quick, just got to let Yankee know the Adler Arms, that A110 RS lever action shotgun, is in fact made in Turkey. So
that's why I ain't buying one.
Damn it!
Fuck the Turks.
That is so ugly. I can see that like rocking in like
People are like, "Oh, you don't like Turks because you're racist." Well, for one, being Turkish isn't a race, and two, I hate Turks because Turks are shitbags of they're a shitbag country, and the people are assholes. That's why I hate. I've had to deal with them enough in my career. I don't like Turks. No one likes the Turks. No one has to deal in any type of any type of official capacity with the Turkish military or the Turkish government does not like the Turks.
Man, they make a bunch of models of this A110 lever action, including like a pistol grip version, which has got that's an SBS right there. There's no way that's not an SBS. It's got like a 12-inch barrel. Damn it! They've got them in zombie green.
Oh, that gun you're talking about?
Yes, that shotgun is awesome.
I think that
it may be a steaming pile of shit, but it looks awesome.
That little Ruger 1022 pistol is the one that needs to be in the zombie green because that looks just like something you'd see in the zombie apocalypse.
They should. Why hasn't Ruger jumped on the zombie bandwagon at this point?
I don't know.
It's over.
They could seriously bank on some zombie green stocks or whatever. You know, there's 100 things they could do with their 10, especially their 1022s. They do enough stuff. They'll do snow camo and all this other crap that nobody really wants on their stocks. Why not throw some zombie green? Do some zombie camo, just a bright green with some blood splatter, and just it can't be that difficult for them. Jump on the zombie bandwagon. Understand that The Walking Dead is here to stay. People love this stuff. Just have fun with it.
I had to chase off my kid and his friend who's spending the night tonight. Our kids have been in school for like 3 days, and then they're off Monday too for a holiday, so they get like a 6-day weekend.
What the hell?
Well, we've had a lot of snow here. We had like a foot of snow.
Oh yeah, y'all actually have snow up there. I forgot.
We had a ton. We don't usually get 10 inches in like a matter of a couple of hours.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
So,
I'll beat you to it.
I was gone, but is Ruger irrelevant now? Have they turned is their platform now just become, or has the Ruger 1022 just become a platform? You can already get different triggers and stocks and.
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. I mean, that's the hook of Ruger 1022. If you're looking for a 22, the reason you buy a Ruger, the reason you pay more money for the 1022 is because it's so modular and so adaptive depending on what you want to do with it. And you can go with just a standard model, you can go with the Charger, you can go with a takedown, and then from there, once you've decided which of those three you might want to go with, you can then customize the crap out of it. I mean, it's kind of like it's kind of like an AR. It's just very modular and adaptive, and so many people make parts and accessories and magazines and stocks and everything else you can possibly think of for it. That's why, to me, that's why you get a Ruger 1022. Because if you just want a good 22, there are many 22s out there on the market right now that cost half what a Ruger does and are just as accurate and just as reliable, but they don't offer anywhere near the accessories and options that a Ruger does. That's what you're paying for. When you're paying $250 for a Ruger 1022 instead of $120 for a Marlin 795, you're paying for all that. That's what you're paying for. You're not paying for added accuracy or more reliability, because the Marlin 795 is a fantastic little 22. You're paying for all that extra stuff. And to me, I think it's worth it. If that's what you want to do with your 22s, it's worth it because you're getting a platform that allows you to do so much.
I'm trying to read through the comments over here while Never Enough Ammo is rambling. And what is a P320 CRX?
CRX?
I've never heard of it.
That I have not heard of.
And if no one can tell me what it is, I'll have to look it up. Because I do not know what a SIG P320L CRX is.
CRX.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Battle Pistol Series.
Is that the one that has the safety on it for the?
I'm seeing some that have the quote unquote tac ops version, whatever they're calling it. It's got the longer barrel that's threaded. Comes with magazines that are like 20-round magazines that actually are molded and look like just an extension of the grip. But I don't know if that's CRX. I'm seeing RX now I see P320 RX, which looks like it's got the cutout for an RMR or something like that on it.
That's the RX that comes with an RMR. Yeah,
but CRX, I'm not finding anything specifically called the CRX.
I think they're saying the P320 Compact RX. What's a P320 RX Compact?
Okay.
Yeah, that's just Yeah, I'm hoping they'll have them there. They're supposed to already be on the market, but I never do see any of them anywhere. I want one. I've got the P320 RX right now and the C320 Compact. Now I just want to kind of like marry the two and have the the Pig 3. Man, I can't say SIG P320 to save my life when I try. That is one of the hard words for me for some reason.
If you're gonna marry that SIG, you're gonna then three-way marry that Rhino.
No, I wouldn't do that. The Rhino's a lady. She doesn't.
Norman marry the Rhino.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. No, the Rhino's not that kind of girl. ACR was a piece of crap. Okay. Let's see here. I got some questions over here in the emails about people asking stuff about SHOT Show that I want to get to. 2 questions, both on Glock. Will there be Gen 5s anytime soon? G23 or 320 as a purchase with the other barrel? Well, I mean, if you're going to get I would say go the 23 and get the 30, you get the 357 SIG barrel. If it was me, is the way I would go. But I don't know if there'll be a Gen 5 there. I don't know if they're planning on releasing a Gen 5 anytime or not. I mean, I assume they'll be like sort of like the FBI model, but you never know. You know anything about that G-Webs or Matt?
I haven't been paying attention, but I'm sure they're going to milk it. So they'll probably wouldn't it be worth it to them to just let it simmer this year and then next year make it a big thing?
Make a big deal. Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen and or heard anything. So, I mean, it's going to happen. The turnover cycles for the generations have thinned up a little bit. So, I mean, we've had Gen 4 for how many years now? 5, 6 years?
Wow. Yeah.
It's been at least 5 or 6 years. I mean, it's been since we've all been on YouTube, and I've been on YouTube for just a hair over 6 years. And it's been since then that the Gen 4s came out, I believe. So, I mean, what do we think rollover time is? Because Gen 3s are out since what, the mid-90s when they launched the Gen 3s, depending on, there's that whole Gen 2.5 for some models or whatever they wanted to call them. But, I mean, do we think 6 years is enough time to go ahead and bust out a Gen 5? Not that I got a problem with it. I just think, do you think that they're ready to roll out with a new line and call it a whole new generation instead of just being like,
well, I think from everything I hear, there's lots of things that Glock as a company wants to do to make their gun more relevant. I hear that Gaston Glock is like, I designed it, I'm done. Let's just do it that way. So
yeah. Well, I certainly don't have a problem. I think Gen 3s are the best Glocks on the market. I mean, if I go to buy a Glock, I want a Gen 3. That's my first choice.
I like the Gen 3s better than the Gen 4s. I like the recoil spring, the systems better in the Gen 3s. And I like the fact that it doesn't have that funky slots down the side for those removable back straps that I never use.
Yeah.
So Gen 4 has got nothing I want. I would rather have a Gen 3 with the RTF texture or whatever they call it would be my
Yeah. I think Gen 3, that was like the pinnacle of Glock. Gen 4 was in my opinion, Gen 4 was, well, damn it. We see that people like the M&P. People like the Smith & Wesson M&P. Let's see if we can make Glock a little bit more ergonomic, and let's change it up just a bit and see what we can do. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's fine. But I don't think, if you...
And I wish it wouldn't be the M&P because I'm not a big fan of the M&P.
Yeah, well, so I actually like the M&Ps, but I mean, ergonomically, I like them better than I like the Glocks. But I think they kind of jumped the gun and we need to do something. Let's throw some back straps and change some stuff up here real quick and I think that if you want a Glock, just stick with the Gen 3. You can get them cheaper now anyway. So
yeah, they need
why
to
not
be doing something. Someone in here was saying Glock needs to be more relevant. And yeah, they do, because I was speaking to someone the other day who does marketing for one of my favorite brands, and I don't know how much of experience a lot of people have had people who do like Instagram and social media marketing for companies, but a lot of times the marketing guy for one company will be the same marketing guy for another company, that they'll handle like 3 or 4 different manufacturers. And they were talking about how you notice how Glock doesn't advertise exactly how many more agencies use their guns anymore, because it's a rapidly dropping number, and they don't want to lose more of the market than they're losing it now. They're already hemorrhaging the police department market already. So they got to do something to try to get that back.
And the thing is there was a Glock boom from the mid 90s all the way up until, just 5 years ago, where, they were the number, they had the market cornered when it comes to law enforcement, that kind of stuff. And what's happening now is, as we've seen over the course of the last 8 years or so, as the gun market has really boomed, especially in this country, and I'm not going to try and speak for other countries, but it's not just that there's any one other company that's busting into Glock's share of the market, whether it be civilian or law enforcement. It's that there's a lot of other companies that have come up and are making good products that are cutting into Glock's share of the market that they pretty much had locked up for a very long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's our market here. They chose to pay twice as much money for another gun because they just didn't want Glocks again.
Yeah. And it's not that like all of a sudden Glock is just failing in law enforcement or anything. There's still probably more Glocks being used by cops than anything else, so without a doubt. But the fact that they are losing market share consistently, and probably have for the last 3 or 4 years,
yeah.
I mean, that's it. They obviously see that, oh, well, this could be a sign that we're going to continue to lose market share. We need to do something to try and make ourselves a little more relevant. Maybe the old Gaston Glock, well, I made it, this is how it should be, and be done with it. Maybe they look at it and go, no, maybe we do need to update this design.
Maybe. I think until he's got enough money to last the next 10 lifetimes. I don't think he's not until he's dead. Someone else in here, John Snow's asked me, what do you think about the new Ruger GP 144 Special? Do you think you're going to get one? I reload so I can make rounds for this gun. That's why I'm considering getting one. It doesn't interest me, surprisingly. I mean, the GP 100 is a cool gun. I like 44 Special, but I just don't. For some reason, the 44 Special and the GP 100 just doesn't interest me. I've got a couple of Smith & Wessons in 44 Special, and I can shoot 44 Special 3x44 mags. So I just, not that interested. And plus, what is it? It turns a big GP 100 into what, a 5-shot gun? Is it a 5 or 6?
I don't remember.
Anybody know? Anybody remember? But I think it's a 5-shot gun now, so I'm just not that interested in it. Someone saying here, do any of you use a man purse? I don't know what that's got to do with SHOT Show. What do you think of them? I think of getting Maxpedition Wolf Spur. I don't know what that is. I mean, I don't mind bags and carrier bags and things like that, but I mean, I just don't like keeping a gun in anything that you're going to take off at any time during the day. So if you carry your gun in it, make sure you keep it on you. But that's about the only thing I can say about it.
Oh yeah, I don't have a problem with Merces. I've got a couple of them laying around. I'll use them occasionally, depending on what I'm doing. But I mean, it's a bag. I mean,
everyone here in Portland carries them. I mean,
yeah, it's cool. But again, exactly like you said, don't put your gun in there. It's the same reason why I had to, I spent years trying to drill this into my wife's head. Don't put your gun in your purse. Don't put your gun in something that's not attached to your body. Yeah. Because if somebody rolls along and grabs your purse, or you set it down somewhere, you forget, you leave it in the car, whatever, all of a sudden you don't have your gun and maybe somebody else does have your gun. It's not, other than that, I mean, go for it, man. There's a lot of good, cool gear out there.
I'm pretty sure G-Webs doesn't wear one because he can never find one to match his shoes.
Sorry, I'm trying to arrange a thing for my car. Wear what?
Gotta get your man purse.
Oh, yeah.
Someone here, Jesse Galagos, is asking me, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, or actually I don't care. Say, hey, Yankee Marshall, just wondering if you could touch on your law enforcement past a little on your podcast tonight. Okay. In the past, I was in law enforcement. Okay, let's move on to the next one here. What's this really got to say? Want to know your opinion on the CZP-10? Well, I really don't have much of an opinion on it. I haven't shot one. I mean, there's only so much you can do with a polymer striker fired gun that's still the same configuration as every other polymer striker fired gun, just different cosmetics and slightly different trigger. So, I'm not super excited about it because I don't think they're going to, recreate the handgun market with another polymer striker fired gun. I mean, I think it could be a good polymer striker fired gun, but that's not gonna get me that excited. I don't know.
Was he talking about the P10?
Yeah, the P10.
Yeah.
CZP-10.
Yeah, it's all the rage right now. Everybody's asking about it. Everybody wants to know what everybody thinks about it. Everybody wants to get their hands on one. So,
yeah, I guess
I've been getting consistent questions on this for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and all I can say is I don't know. I haven't even seen one in person yet. So,
yeah, I haven't shot one or anything. So I don't know. Someone, for all your female viewers, for both of your female viewers, my wife recently bought a nickel and lace compression camisole to carry her SIG P238. She says works great and secures weapon nicely. Okay, I guess that was also good for effeminate or transgender men. I guess he's just saying something to the ladies out there, because we always never cover many female topics. The nickel and lace compression.
Are there women that watch this crap? I don't know. I didn't think there was.
Oh, the other day though, there were like 2 women in here, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" There's 2 women in here.
They clicked the wrong button.
Can you give us a rundown on what SHOT is? SHOT is where like all the major gun manufacturers and self-defense material and law enforcement stuff, they all get together, and it's a trade show. It's basically where if you own a gun shop or a chain of gun shops or a sporting goods store, you go to this trade show and you place your orders for the stuff you want for that year. And then there's people like me who just wander around and look at cool stuff. But that's about the most I can sum it up. Someone says, well, you go to the Hudson booth and ask if they accept regular 1911 grips. Well, yeah, I'm sure that will be one of my questions when I go and ask them. Should someone in the early 80s carry? I don't think people in their 80s should be alive, to be honest. So I guess not. I mean, you're just a burden on society at this point. Just lay down, give up the ghost, and let somebody else take over. At the very least, stop voting. What do I think of the Ruger 8-shot? We already talked about the Ruger 8-shot 357 Magnum. Getting a lot it's like every other email here is about that Hudson. I didn't know so many people were aware of it. So excited about it.
Yeah. I think it's piquing a lot of people's curiosity.
Yeah, I think it is, because it is, like I say, it is unique looking. So it's something different. Someone's asking if I got any of the SIG P Series Talo editions. I didn't even know there were Talo editions. I guess I don't have any, since I didn't know there were Talo editions of the SIGs. Would you ever consider buying one of the Nighthawk revolvers? Probably not, because I can't afford them. Those are very expensive. You're talking $5,000-$6,000 for a gun. And some people will be like, well, you could sell a few guns and buy one. Well, yeah, but then I would have 2 guns less than I have now if I sold 3 to buy 1. I don't want that. And I don't know if they'd be better than the guns I have. They're more refined and more custom, but that doesn't equal better, especially when the goal of the gun is to shoot the bad guy or shoot the target. I mean, are they going to do that better? Well, they have to be able to do that considerably better to be a better gun. And if they're just prettier, that doesn't make them a better gun. It just makes them a prettier gun, and you got to wonder how much is pretty worth. Would I ever move out of Washington State due to gun legislation? Well, if it got really bad. Then there was another question up here. Someone said, what do you think of Washington adopting California gun control? We have not adopted California gun control, not even come close. Our attorney general has proposed some legislation that is going to fail. In fact, they've already admitted it's going to fail. So they came up with a plan B that is going to fail even worse than their plan A, because plan B is worse than plan A. So yeah, they're not getting anywhere. Then they're starting to learn their lesson. This guy is, a lot of the senators and stuff are already distancing themselves from him because they're learning a lesson from the last election, and he isn't. So I don't see it happening. You think any experience with Grand Power? No, I do not have any experience with Grand Power. Does anyone in here have any experience with Grand Power guns?
What is that? Is that a thing?
They're kind of like a Beretta.
Oh, it's a brand?
Well, it's a brand. If I remember correctly, they're kind of like a Beretta Cougar, kind of a ripoff.
No, I'm not familiar with them.
I've seen them, but I've never actually really had a lot of experience with them. I think I've only seen one in real life.
The kind of thing where they take a Beretta and they soup it up, or the kind of thing where it's based on a Beretta, but it's its own unique thing?
Based on like a Beretta, like the rotating barrel kind of design, kind of similar to one of those, if I remember correctly. So
I'm looking at pictures of them right now, and they look kind of ridiculous.
That I remember.
Looks like they cut about 27 cuts in the slides and relief cuts and all kinds of stuff, and it's kind of a it's a funky looking right Eastern European looking gun.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Maybe a great gun, I don't know, but
and I think it's got I think one of their models has got a rotating barrel. I'm not a real aficionado on them, don't know much about them.
It's from Slovakia.
Well, it's got to be good then.
Yep.
You can't complain that. Someone's up here. People are complaining again about you don't like the Rex 01. No, I don't like it. I mean, I know you see all these articles in gun magazines. They're like, oh, it's just as good as a SIG. It's made just like a SIG. No, it fucking isn't. You can even just look at the pictures and see it ain't made like a SIG. You can see that flat cut off front end of the slide that doesn't even have a decently beveled edge on it. You can see the roll pins and the marks around them around the trigger. You can see, you know, the way the grip frame comes into the frame, you know, just how thin and poorly done the rail is. I mean, it is in no way equal to a SIG Sauer. If you have a SIG P226 in one hand and that new gun in the other, you were like, well, this gun is like 2/3 the weight. It just feels cheaper. It is cheaper, and you can tell. If you take it apart, you could tell it's a cheaper gun. I mean, I looked at him for like 5 minutes maybe and was just like, it's a cheap knockoff of a SIG, except that it's like a SIG, only not as good. And then they make it unacceptable in my mind by throwing this cheap safety mechanism on it that looked like it was made out of plate tin when I looked at it. So yeah, I'm not interested in them all. They're just nothing that would even cross my radar. Did you disagree there, Matt?
No, not at all.
Yeah,
I mean, I've looked at them a couple times, and you know, they
look like the quality of an EAA. If you were to say,
I mean,
that's fine. Yeah. They're not the quality.
Yeah, they look like something that probably works fine. And it, you know, if you want to use it as your gun, you know, want to buy one for whatever reason, they don't look like the type of gun that's going to just fall apart and jam up. I mean, it doesn't look like a Bryco or something like that, you know. But it's, I mean,
they're like a can.
It's not a SIG. There's no way it's a SIG. There's no way it's even close to the quality of a SIG. It may be a perfectly good functioning firearm, but there's a reason why you can pick them up for $400 or whatever the hell they cost, and a SIG is
like 500. Yeah, they're like around the 5.
Are they really pushing 500?
Yeah, they're. I think the MSRP is $599.
Oh, see, okay, see, I wouldn't pay that much for them.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I mean, it's,
oh no, okay, never mind.
For 600 and 700, get a SIG. I mean, it's way better.
I mean, at that point, go get yourself one of the what is it, the K2P EAA.
Yeah,
if you want a gun, that thing you can pick up for about $275, and I've seen people torture test those, and that's actually a legitimate good CZ copy. If you want to,
the Rec 01 is about as equal to a SIG as a Canic is to a Walther P99.
There you go.
If you've ever held the Walther next to the Canic next to a Walther P99, you see, oh, there's where they cut the corners. So let's see, what else do we got here? Question-wise, opinion on the new Arsenal firearm strike pistols. Are they ever going to fucking come out? That's my question. We were promised those last year. They never came out. And then there was like, oh, they're almost ready. You'll have them for Christmas. And they never came out. And I just don't know when they're coming. Does anybody else know when they're coming?
I don't have a clue.
I mean, they're cool looking and everything. I was kind of iffy about that grip to magazine matchup on them, but I'm assuming that was just prototype issues in some of the early pictures I saw.
Don't you have one?
No, I've got the original. I don't have the one that they're making, you know, as you know, here.
Oh, okay.
Strike A and the Strike B, which is the compact version. I don't have those. Someone asked me, have I seen the Military Arms channel vids on the Rec 01? No, I haven't. But I can tell you, if he thinks that they're built like a SIG, I don't see how he could say that because they are. I've held them both. They are not built like a SIG. What is your opinion on Century Arms? Well, it depends. Century Arms is not really a manufacturer, are they? Aren't they just an importer?
Well, they import. They do some assembly and stuff for parts kits and things like that, don't they?
They make their own APs, right? Those are those aren't imported.
That's like if someone puts together puzzles, they're an artist.
No, but they make their own U.S. built AK. That's not.
Yeah, they do.
Well, yeah, whatever you call
it is the best way.
The
to
one
say
you've got, Yankee. That's the one they actually are manufacturing, right? Well, in the RAS,
yeah. And I like that. It's turning out to be a really good gun. I'm enjoying it. I think now when I go shooting, if I take an AK, which is rare, I do it usually if I just want to piss off fucking people at the range because we shoot indoors over here. And every time I go, someone gets beside me with an AK or an AR, and I get pissed. So then the next day I go back with an AR and AK to piss everybody else off. But I've gotten to where I grab that little Sentry gun before I grab my Vepr now. it's like more compact and a little easier to carry around, and just it's more like a little tight little weapon, and it's very well made in my opinion. So I mean, I'm not an AK-47 expert. I would definitely acquiesce to G-Webs on anything AK related, but I'm enjoying the little C39 V2. That really didn't go anywhere, did it? No one. Question about the Sig Sauer P250. Help, I cream my bed. How do I hide it from my mom? I think I have herpes. I have sores in my mouth. That could be herpes, I guess. There's other things you can get sores in your mouth from, but don't automatically jump to herpes. But it is a good assumption, though. Would you buy the PX4 Storm again? Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great gun. I like it. I'm not so sure about that new one coming out. I think it's a little overpriced. I think it's, they hired someone to be like, I'm going to jack off on this gun, and then we're going to put some rough texture on the grip, and we're going to say it's special and sell it for extra money. They just tied a name to it. Whereas if they'd have just made those changes without tying a name to it, they would have added like $30 to the price of the gun. But because they added a name and those changes, they added like $200 to the price of the gun. So yeah, it's probably not one I get unless I find it for the same price as a regular.
What name do they add to the gun?
Oh, I forget. Who was it that did the new PX4 Storms? Let's see. I'll look it up here real quick. PX4 Storm. Isn't it the compact carry? Is that what it's called? Or the carry compact or something like that? Compact carry. Let's see if I got the right one here. Dun, dun, dun. This is real intriguing here as we're humming to ourselves while we're looking. Ernest Langdon.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're like, and I kind of go, who? And like,
I mean, I've heard the name. Ask me anything about the guy, I couldn't tell you anything, but I've heard the name.
Wouldn't know a thing about him. I mean, he did all the things. I will say this about him: the things he did to the gun, or suggested that they do to the gun, are the exact same things I would suggest they do to the gun, except for the taping up the fucking grip. I don't like tape on grips, but every other thing he did: low profile safety, GD cocker, blacked out rear sight, the high vis front sight, not high vis as in the name brand, but I think it is. But just everything he did to the gun, the coating on the slide, it's all changes I would have made. So I agree with him every bit of the way on what he did. I just don't agree with how much price it should have added to it. So let's see, what's the I don't think they list the cost on this one here. MSRP. Let's see if they list the MSRP on that one. It's a $900 MSRP, whereas the PX4 Compact. Let's see what the PX4 Compact. And if you want to talk about something while I'm doing this, because this is really.
I looked up a couple of facts about SHOT Show because somebody asked about SHOT Show earlier.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the show because it's so big. The way to put it into perspective is there's going to be 1,600 exhibitors. So largest event held at the Sands Expo Center, which is one of the big expo centers in Vegas. It's more than 600,000 square feet, which is 13 acres, the size of the Great Pyramid, 12.5 miles of aisles. This is the 39th show. So they started in 1979. It's been held 18 times in Las Vegas, the most at any other city. There'll be 64,000 professionals attending the show. So it's pretty big.
Yeah, that's pretty big. What did I say the MSRP was on the PX4 comic? I've already forgotten it as I went to go look up the other one. Let's see, what was it?
To put that in perspective.
So basically they raised the price of the gun from $650 to $900, $250 basically for doing a modification to the gun that you can do yourself for $30 and then adding an extra $30 front sight. So, do the math. Doesn't add up to me.
And this is another thing though, I'll just say about that is, and the more I've had conversations with people over the last, few years about guns and doing things, there's a lot of people that are ridiculously uncomfortable with doing anything to their guns and would rather spend ridiculous amounts of money to buy a gun that everything's already been done to it. I don't know why maybe it's just,
Well,
I
like
mean,
reassuring to those people and say, get over it, you pussy, and work on
and legitimately, there has been a couple of people that I know that are mechanics that can tear apart an engine, but are afraid to mess with a Glock. It's
yeah, guns are so easy.
exactly. It's ridiculous, and you try to have conversations with people about that. And you're like, look, if you can work on a car even mildly, a gun is nothing. It's nothing. But because it's a gun, it just scares people sometimes. I think, which I don't understand. I don't relate to. I don't have any problems tearing into a gun. You don't. Most of us on here that talk about this stuff don't, but some people just do.
Yeah, I think
And maybe that kind of thing appeals to those people.
people who watch my channel know I got no problem tearing into a gun. It's the first thing I do when I bring them home. I post pictures on Instagram of my gun completely torn to the ground because of taking it. Because I got to see how it works. If it's a model now, if it's like a model I've already had 3 or 4 times, or I've got 3 or 4 more of, I just take it apart just to make sure every piece is good. Because you don't want to buy the one that's got the crack in the sear. So I take it apart and inspect all the pieces. But if it's a gun I haven't had before, I'm not even familiar with, I take it apart till I figure out how it goes back, how it works.
Yep.
So I got to know.
Well, that's how I got into guns and doing stuff. My first handgun when I was 18 was a 1911, and one of the first things I did was completely tear it apart to figure out how the hell it worked. But so there's a lot of people out there that just aren't like that. They don't care how it works. They just they want a gun, and they
There's people out there, when you ask them what kind of car they have, they say green.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I guess there's room for everyone in the world here. Do we got any more questions here about SHOT Show? Because it is about time for us to finish up here, and the roads are getting worse and worse by the moment here as everything freezes back from today. And I got to take my mother home here in a minute because my mother is visiting from West Virginia. In fact, she picked up her first gun the other day while she was here. So I did the first video on it of us actually picking out the gun. My next video will be of us going to the range and then actually buying the one she likes the best. Someone's asking about Caracal. What about them? They're back around nowadays, and I think the new models came with an extra feature where they don't break in half when you shoot them.
Oh, that's a good feature.
Yeah, I like that. Well, the other feature was kind of cool. I mean, how many other guns have that feature?
This is true. It was unique, to say the least.
He says someone says they brought up Max because it beat SIG in a torture test. Torture tests are the most ridiculous garbage you can ever see. Way you prove a gun works is years of actually working. Torture tests, for one, they're never going to be the same. It's the same 2 guns 100 times, and a different one would win, each time, because it's all about odds and value. If you drop 2 guns equally in the mud and you pick one up, one might have gotten a pebble between the sear and the striker. One may not have. And they may have the exact same tolerances and the exact same clearances, but one happened to get a pebble and one didn't. That doesn't prove anything. It's long-term use that proves something. Torture tests are just things. They're actually designed by marketing companies who know you can make anything survive anything if you want it to, and you can make anything fail anything if you want it to. So they do that thinking most people are not educated or experienced enough with machinery to know that, so that they actually enjoy these things. So torture tests are just for fun. They don't teach you anything about a gun.
Well, I think torture tests have value in certain situations. If a torture test is, and I'm not talking about, let's drop it in the mud and drop it on the ground and put it on, whatever. I'm talking about torture tests of, okay, let's simulate a 1,500 round training class, what you would shoot in a weekend. How does it hold up? Now, that may not be realistic because most people are not going to do that, but I think they're valid in that they can give you an idea of what kind of, things it can take. I don't go around dropping my guns in lakes and stuff. I've never dropped a gun in a lake or slammed it on, there's certain things that get ridiculous, but I think there are some aspects of a torture test that can be useful.
If you put both guns in a vise and then rig up a system to pull the trigger equally on both of them and fire 10,000 rounds through both of them and then repeat that a few times, you'd have some usable data. But no one ever fucking does that, because that's what give you actual data. That's not random chance. Torture tests are random chance 90% of the time.
Yeah.
You talk about things like dropping them in the mud, etc. So it doesn't really tell you anything. Putting them in a vise, even just watching someone shoot the guns that are different, doesn't tell you anything either. That person might have a preference for one gun. So, I'm going to hold this one a little tighter and I'm going to kind of throw and go a little loose, and that happens. Not even sometimes people don't even do it consciously, but it happens. And then there's some people who have an agenda and they want to sell you something. So they'll make one look better than the other, or they'll have like one gun that just had an inherent flaw in it and the other one just happened to be perfect, so until you take the human equation out of it, you're not learning anything from a gun. And until you take random chance out of it, and then you have to repeat it again and again, that's when you actually learn something. Those torture tests don't teach you anything.
Yep.
So what else here do we got? I think that's about it. Do we have any last questions? Because we are right at an hour. And like I said, the roads are icing as we speak. Whew. Yankee, how much mayonnaise do you put on your hot dogs? I don't eat mayonnaise on hot dogs. I eat them on.
Who the hell puts mayonnaise on hot dogs?
Some people do. I know people that do. They're weird.
Weird
people. They're usually people that you're acquaintance with. You're not really friends. You just know them from work or something.
I got a friend who's from England that dips his French fries in a mixture of mayonnaise and vinegar. I haven't figured that one out yet, but
they do that. If you go to Canada, they put gravy on their French fries.
I don't got a problem with that. Gravy on anything, I'm good with that.
Remember, my mother was like, when the woman asked her at the restaurant if she wanted gravy for her fries, my mother was like, what is wrong with you?
I still like going to Wendy's and dipping my chicken nuggets in a Frosty. So,
dude, you're gross.
It's
delicious. Are really a disgusting person. I'm glad you're not coming to SHOT Show now. I might have had to smack you after you said that. Let's see what else. We got nothing else here. So someone's asking, is it best to email or PM on YouTube? If you private message me on YouTube or Facebook, I'm probably not going to see it. If you email me, there's a good 50% chance I'll see it, depending on how many emails I get that day and how far I get into them before I get tired. And I get tired pretty easy. Do you think D-lead soap is bullshit? Have you ever used it? Never used it. Don't know anything about it.
D-lead soap? What the hell is that?
Yeah, that's valuable. I think what they're talking about is something like either the wipes or some sort of soap that's specifically to get rid of the lead debris and solvents and back spray that hits you. And I've known people that have lead poisoning, so they're really adamant about washing hands right after, washing your beard off after shooting.
Mm-hmm. Lead poisoning is not a joke. It's a serious thing. It's more serious for teenagers and young children, but I mean, it's actually still a serious thing for adults. If we had been using another material for bullets for centuries and then someone suggested we switch to lead because it's cheaper, people be like, I'm not using fucking lead, it's poison. The only reason we still use it is because we've used it for so long and it's part of our lives. But most industries are moving so far away from lead, they don't even want to touch the stuff because it's toxic. So I can understand why most people want to get away from lead for bullets.
So I guess it's like something about this, the soap or the material that's in the wipes, that it either attracts the lead or somehow catches the lead better than just a regular towel or washing your hands. So that's the concept. So there's people out there that market it. It's just it's not available everywhere, and it probably costs something. So that's probably why it's not more available.
Someone, Alan Wynn, I think that's how you pronounce the name, Wynn, Nguyen. Is that Wynn? Will you be checking out the Kruger optical booth and their new 318 carbon fiber scope? Probably not. But actually, I think I might, because I actually had someone ask me about that the other day. So I might check it out, but it'd be one of those things I'll have to happen to want to buy it before I figure it out. Will you want to do a meetup at Safefire or something in the future? I don't think enough people want to meet me to do that. So, I mean, I'm not like Hickok. So no, I do not think that any business would even want me to have me there for a meetup for fear of what might happen. So no, that is a big negatory on that. Well, it is 8 o'clock. So we are going to finish this up. Does anyone got anything they want to plug or talk about before we get out of here? I won't be seeing you all as we won't be seeing you as a trio like this until after SHOT Show. So
that's because of Matt. Otherwise we could have been doing the show next week.
Matt ruins everything.
Yeah, of course. Yes. Thank you.
Everybody hates Matt.
Yep.
I got a AK-47 podcast going to start up right after this. So anybody that wants to talk AKs, we'll be going live.
And because I'm not going to SHOT, I'll still be doing all the Guns and Geeks podcasts. So
if you were
have fun with that,
completely and totally whooped by your wife, you would be going to SHOT. Every year it's the same thing.
If I didn't have to
last minute, my wife says I can't go.
It's not that. If I didn't have to spend $1,200 on fixing a car, I would go.
Tell her to get a second job and fix a car. Tell her I'm going to SHOT Show.
There you go. I'll let you tell her that. I'll hand you the phone. You go ahead.
You got my number. Have her call me. I'll tell her. You'll have a different woman on your hands when I'm done with her.
I'm sure I will. That would be a completely different woman.
You obviously don't know how to keep her in her place.
What?
Letting her make decisions around the house like she wears the pants. Yeah, that's you see, you ain't got nothing to say. You know it. But I guess if that's it for us tonight, I just want to say once again, as I always say, make sure you support the people out there that are delivering the message you want to see as far as guns are concerned. Support the people who are bringing you the information on new products. Watch their videos. Go to their Patreon. Donate to their Patreon account. I mean, I think all of us have one or two favorite gun channels that we should donate $2 or $3 a month to. I mean, I do. Donate to some of these losers that are actually both of these losers and then some other people too. So support the gun channels. It's getting to where social media is the only pro-gun voice in this country anymore. So let's keep social media rolling. Believe me, they don't pay us very much to do this stuff. We don't make a lot of money on it. So if you've got a channel you like, if you like someone that you think you want to see them keep going, help support them, actually be part of the solution. Other than that, I guess we will see you next time. And right now I'm just vamping until I can actually get my music loaded up. And as soon as I do get my music loaded up, I will say goodbye here, and I'll talk to you all later.